Hey, Melissa. My son is going to be able to come home around New Year's, isn't he? I know that he's always busy with business trips, but he can at least come home for the Christmas holidays and spend time with his family, right? Can you tell him to make sure he pays us a visit this time?
Hi, Jane. Well, actually, my husband's work is going to just get busier from now. I'm afraid he won't be able to make it for Christmas or New Year's. I'm sorry. But from next year, he says that the international business trips will be over.
Oh, that's just an excuse, isn't it? I bet he just doesn't want to come back at all. I bet he's fallen out of love with you. It's not like you're anywhere near as beautiful as his younger brother's wife, after all. And you're not very good at cooking either. Why would he even want to come back home to that?
What are you saying?
Oh, that must be it. Otherwise, I'm sure he would find a way to make it back to see his family. Oh, yes. By the way, Melissa, make sure you leave next Sunday open in your schedule.
Next Sunday? Why is that? Is there something happening on that day?
The whole family is going out for dinner. If you're free, make sure to join us. I'm sure it must be lonely, always eating at home by yourself while your husband is away. We booked a table at a really nice French restaurant. Everyone's really looking forward to it.
Oh, wow. Is it really okay for me to join too?
Of course. Why are you acting so surprised?
How do I put this? It's just that this is the first time you've invited me to a family gathering or event without my husband being there.
Oh, don't say things like that. You make me sound bad. That comes across as though I've purposefully pushed you away or something. By the way, you were raised by a single mother, right?
Yeah, I was. But what about it?
I know that people from poor families never get a chance to eat good food. I guess that's why they never learn to cook very well either. When my son finally comes home from abroad, it would be such a shame if he has to come back to bad cooking from his wife. So I thought that I should treat you to some good food every now and then. That way you can get used to what real food should taste like, and then maybe your own cooking will improve. Especially at this restaurant. Each course costs almost $200 per person. It's gonna be delicious. Isn't that great?
Thanks for thinking of me. But my husband has never said that the food I make tastes bad or anything like that.
Well, of course he wouldn't say it to your face. You're really thick, aren't you?
Is that really so?
Anyway, keep your next Sunday free and make sure you're not late. The reservation is for 1 p.m. I'll send you the address later on.
I got it. Thanks for inviting me. I'm looking forward to it. Hi, Jane. I'm almost at the restaurant. I'll be there shortly.
What? What do you mean you're coming? Everyone has already started eating. We all met up already.
What? Everyone's already started? But wasn't the reservation for 1 p.m.? There's still 20 minutes until then. And everyone has already arrived? Why did they come so early?
Of course they have! This is a super fancy French restaurant. It's custom to arrive about an hour beforehand.
1 hour before the reservation time? I see. In any case, I'll hurry over. I won't be long.
Well, there's no need for that anymore. It's not like there's a seat here for you anyway.
What do you mean? Sorry, but I don't really understand what's going on here. What are you saying?
The restaurant that we're at is a very expensive, fancy French restaurant. It's not a place for people like you. Even if some poor trash like you ate food like this, you wouldn't even be able to appreciate its quality, now would you? It would just be a waste of money if I treated you to this.
Okay. Then why did you invite me in the first place?
I invited you? I was just talking about how the family was going to go out to eat. You just made a bad assumption thinking that I was inviting you too.
No, you definitely invited me. You literally told me to come with you if I was free.
Oh, maybe I said something like that, but I didn't say anything about reserving a seat for you, did I?
What's the difference there?
You really don't get it. Anyway, there's nothing here for you. I haven't reserved you a seat or anything, so just go home. It's time for me to enjoy this seafood with the family. Just go home and eat some frozen meal or something by yourself. Did you get home already?
Sure.
Oh, you must be tired. You came all the way to the restaurant. That must have taken you like half an hour each way. Well, it's your fault for making the wrong assumption.
I guess it is.
And so?
What do you mean?
What are you going to do right now?
I was just about to eat.
Oh, yeah? So, what did you end up with? I bet some gross, ready-to-eat meal? Well, tell me.
Why do I need to tell you what I'm eating?
Oh, because I'm interested. You thought you were going to be eating some high-quality cuisine just to end up having to go back home. So, I wanted to know what you had to settle for.
Well, in that case, it might be best I didn't tell you.
Oh, is it really that bad? Oh, come on, tell me.
Well, in that case, I'm eating some baked brie, oysters, and some king crab too.
You can't be serious. You're really eating king crab and oysters? Why are you lying about this? It's not even a funny joke.
I'm not lying. Do you want me to send a photo?
What? Where on earth are you eating all of that?
Oh, would you like to know? It's at a restaurant that my uncle owns.
Your uncle owns a restaurant?
I happened to run into my uncle when I was about to go home. I told him what happened, so he told me to come by his restaurant. It was pretty lucky as well, since some customers had canceled their reservations last minute. So he decided he would give me the course they booked instead. The timing actually worked out really, really well for me. Not only that, but his restaurant even has a Michelin star. Have you heard of Ventoux?
Ventro? Are you really talking about that Ventro? It's basically impossible to get a reservation there.
Yeah, that's the one. My uncle is the owner, but also works there as a chef.
What? You have a relative that owns such a famous restaurant? I never heard anything about that. Wait, something doesn't add up. I bet this is just some random, made-up story. Oh, everyone here is laughing. There's no way that story is true. Were you so embarrassed by what you ended up having to eat that you just made up this lie?
I have actually mentioned this before, but when I was telling the story at that time, you cut me off saying that it probably wasn't worth listening to. So, because of that, I wasn't able to fully tell the story. If you still don't believe me, I can send you a photo together with my uncle. There's a photo of him on the restaurant's website, so you can compare that one with the one I sent you. Also, his last name is the same as my maiden name. Before I married your son, you can even have someone look into it if you're that doubtful.
That just has to be some coincidence. There's no way this is true.
My uncle's food really is the best, though. He just brought out some escargot. There's something you said you really liked, right? How's the food over at where you're eating?
Why are you even asking that? Obviously, the food here is amazing. I told you it's almost $200 per person. We even ordered the most expensive course they had on offer.
That's nice to hear. The food here is amazing, too. The ingredients are of the highest quality. And I'm lucky enough to get the full course. The array of cheeses that just got brought out. And the organic foie gras also looks perfect.
Are you kidding me? Oh, hold on a second. Regular foie gras is already incredibly expensive. And you're telling me this one is organic? Just how much does something like that cost?
I don't know exactly how much each dish costs on its own, but my uncle said that the people who canceled had ordered a $500 per person course.
$500 per person? That much?
I know that price doesn't always equal quality, but when you get to this price range, you can really taste the difference in the ingredients. I can't believe how lucky I am to be able to eat something like this good for free. It looks like I'll be able to try lots of other delicacies apart from the foie gras too. I see some lobster, trout. Oh, and I even got some dry aged duck. It all tastes so good.
What a waste to give such delicacies to some poor trash like you. Oh, it's not like you can even appreciate the flavors. What a waste of ingredients. Hey, are you ignoring me?
Oh, sorry. I just finished up my meal. And don't worry about me. I've been used to this kind of food for a long time.
Oh, what are you saying now? How could you be used to eating food of that quality?
Well, as you said before, I was raised by a single mother. She was always really busy with work. So she left me with my uncle a lot of the time. He looked after me while she was working. And since my uncle always dreamed of being a chef and having his own restaurant, he spent a lot of time going to different parts of the country and eating various cuisines. It was kind of like research for him. I was lucky enough to go with him on occasion. We'd always eat really delicious food together. So that's essentially how I got used to it. But honestly, it has been quite a while since I've eaten something of this level. I'm so thankful for my uncle.
Give me a break. Everyone looked at the photos you sent and are starting to say that your food looks better than what we got. You're ruining our meal. I went to so much trouble to get a reservation at this restaurant, too.
Then why did you show everyone the photos? I only sent them because you didn't believe me in the first place.
Oh, I got it. Let's do it like this. It's not really fair that you get to be the only one to dine in such luxury, right?
Not fair? What do you mean?
So, how about this, Melissa? Why don't you take all of us to Ventro to eat together? You can ask your uncle for a special reservation. It would be almost impossible to get a table otherwise. Of course, it'll be for free, too, right? You can do that for us, can't you?
Huh? You're joking, right?
Well, I think it's a great idea. I mean, we are family after all, so why not have a lovely meal together?
I don't think I've ever spoken to someone as shameless as you before. I'm being completely serious here. It's gone beyond shock. I'm genuinely scared by how you act. How did you even manage to get that kind of idea into your head? You literally spend all day showing me that you don't consider me part of the family. The setup with the reservation? You did all of that just to make a fool out of me. And now you want to use me to get a reservation at my uncle's restaurant? Why did you do that today? Why invite me at all if you had no real intention of getting lunch together? It's a rhetorical question. You don't need to answer. I already know why. You just wanted to use me for a bit of fun. Say something that would get my hopes up before trampling them immediately, and then laugh at me at my reaction when I got upset. For you, it was nothing more than killing some time. Isn't that right?
And so what? Do you want me to apologize or something? Here you go. My bad. There's your apology. Just water under the bridge now, right? How about it?
Water under the bridge? You can't be serious. That's not something for you to decide. It's up to me.
Are you really making such a big deal of this? Okay, so what do you want for me to do then?
You really are unbelievable. You made fun of me all day, called me poor trash, and constantly said how good food is a waste on someone like me. But really, you're the one who is more, shall we say, commonplace? Looking at you as a person, there's not even a shred of dignity or grace about you.
Oh, how dare you! Who do you think you are talking to your mother-in-law like that?
I could ask you the same thing. Who on earth do you think you are to act the way you do? Oh, my uncle wanted to pass along a message to you. He says that people like you don't belong in his restaurant. So, please refrain from trying to come. After that, my mother-in-law blew up the phone with dozens of calls, but I let my uncle answer it once, and he let her have it. She didn't call back after that. All of the family members who went to dinner with my mother-in-law said that the food at my uncle's restaurant looked better than what they were eating. Apparently, that led to a big fight between them and my mother-in-law. They started yelling at each other in the restaurant, and now they're banned from coming back. I had to put up with a lot from my mother-in-law before now. It's not like this is the first. But because I didn't want to worry my husband, who is always working so hard overseas, I decided not to tell him or make a big deal out of it. This time, though, was so ridiculous and apparent that I decided to tell him everything. My husband was furious and called his mom to yell at her. He scolded her for over 3 hours and made her promise that she would leave me alone from now on. After he came back from his trip, we moved houses and put a bit of distance between us and my mother-in-law. Sometimes we go together to my uncle's restaurant as a couple and are able to enjoy the fantastic food with a family discount. Of course, it was delicious when I went there on my own, and nothing beats a meal that you can eat with those you love. Sitting there eating that delicious food with my husband, I was so incredibly happy. My uncle also seemed really happy that he played some part in my happiness. Apparently, my mother-in-law still wants to get back at me somehow by proving she knows more about fancy food than me. So she started going to all of these different expensive restaurants, but that made her expenses go through the roof, and the family's everyday standard of living dropped. My mother-in-law's spending caused a lot of tension between her and everyone else, and they even refused to eat with her anymore. It's almost as though the entire family is one step away from complete disarray. Who could have thought that just